right, we've got our shirt and we've got our sneakers. And I say let's just start at the top of the body. Let's start taking a look at the details on this shirt. So this is, I believe, what is called an island shirt. I believe that's the name of the silhouette. And really what that means is you've got like a funnel neck here that comes around the back. And it basically turns into like a turtleneck button-down dress shirt by buttoning this flap around the neck. I think it's a really, really cool silhouette, and I've always been a big fan of it, so I'm really glad that I'm adding this to the rotation. Let's take a look at some of the branding and collection details here. So, of course, we've got our two kind of landing strips here, classic beige Rick Owens neck tag style, script logo along the left one, and then the right one, it has the collection. You can see it's a bit faded, but this is from the Fall/Winter 15 collection, which was Moody. And this is a very kind of famous, popular silhouette from that collection. You do still see this one pop up quite a bit. And of course, as with all Rick Owens, pretty much, these care tags are attached to these pieces of cloth that are hanging off the side seam. The piece was made in Italy, again, par for the course for Rick, and our sizing is a 48, which for most brands would be a size medium, but Rick Owens fits very, very differently. We'll talk about that a little bit more soon. No surprises here, our fabrication is 100% cotton. And one interesting thing to note is that this being from 2014, that's, almost 10 years ago at this point. This was from the Olmar and Murta era, the factory that made this, now called Owens Corp. So I already mentioned the neckline, but there's some other really interesting stuff about this shirt. And first off is the fact, I'm not sure how well this will show on camera, but this is an extremely long shirt. It's almost like a dress at a certain point. Like a normal shirt maybe ends like right there. This keeps going that much, and you'll see that once I put this on. Another really cool thing you'll note right off the bat probably is this zipper right here. Nice big silver zipper going straight down the chest, kind of to the side of the button closure. And this opens up to quite a nice sizable pocket. Like you can see where it ends right here, kind of almost like a bladder pocket. Rick Owens likes to talk about always making sure all of his pieces have a pocket big enough for a book. And I mean, for like a nice little paperback or something, I think that would just about do it. And then one of the other big things I really like about this piece is that it is a hidden button closure. Now, what does that mean? If you don't know, it means that we've got our buttons here. They're actually really cool, pretty unique, rounded black buttons. And then this comes over here, and you put the button in wherever there. But once you do that, you cannot see the button through to the other side. There's an extra piece of cloth here that hides that button, so you get a much cleaner look going down where you don't see those buttons. It really depends on the piece. I don't think this would work for every piece, but I definitely do think overall it's a much more clean-cut, sleek kind of look when you can't see the buttons there. And finally, we'll just talk about the shape a little bit of this funnel neck. You get the button closure coming up along here, and then this moves up along this side. Looks at that really like nice clean stitching there going up along here, and then it straightens out off here at this kind of angle right there, and you get 3 buttonholes that will align to 3 buttons way back here. And again, that creates a kind of turtleneck kind of silhouette right around there, which is a really, really unique cut for a button-down shirt. Not something you really ever see, and I think that's why this is such a well-liked silhouette from Rick Owens. And then we've got to talk about these wild, wild sneakers here. And I do keep calling them sneakers, but I guess functionally it really does make more sense to call them boots. When you look at the height of this and also the silhouette here, I guess we are pretty used to chunky sneakers at this point, but I guess boots actually is more fitting. So let's start with the upper here. And where to begin? Let's start with the sock, because that's really the standout detail here. I think that and the chunky sole are the two really big pieces. So it is this kind of like, I don't know what to call it. I'd be interested to know the material, but it's kind of like woven with a little bit of stretch, maybe some like elastane or polyester in here. You really definitely need that stretch to fit your legs and feet in it. You got this little lip stitched up along here. And then if we look at the inside, we can see more of that kind of like woven vibe going on here. It's almost kind of like a scuba type of material or something, but it has this faux leather coating on the outside. And this sock starts all the way at like the upper calf and then comes down where it meets a piece of real leather right at the back of the heel. You get this kind of counter going on here. So that's stitched right along the back of the shoe there and then comes down at this angle. And you still get more of the sock going on here in the body of the upper foot before you get this nice black leather cutout that comes around the front as well. And then you'll note a very popular Rick Owens type of thing that he does in his shoe silhouettes is this rubber lip that comes out right up at the top and it kind of juts out, making it a more squared toe. And then, of course, you have this big, chunky rubber sole, kind of like matte black, slightly distressed rubber. You can see kind of markings all over it. And then you get the teeth detailing for the tractor boot style sole here. So this is one big old chunk of rubber. And then these teeth go in here. You get these little kind of divots right here at the edge of each tooth. And I will note they're not each the same size. This one's pretty small compared to the one back here, let's say. Get a nice little curve up here, and then you get a little bit of a heel, like what is it? Maybe just like a 1/4 of an inch raised at the back. And then you get teeth going all the way around the back here for the same shape on the inside. At the bottom of the shoe, of the soles, you get this classic kind of tractor, almost like bone type of shape, I would say. You get all these pieces going in all these different directions, which I think is really awesome, and kind of going in a fan around the back as well with these two little pieces in the middle with all these really cool cutouts all over the place. And the cuts are really clean as well. And then you get some script right there for the Rick Owens logo right in the center. On the inside of that sock, way up at the top along this seam, you do get the model number and size and all that stuff. This is a 43. We'll talk more about sizing when we try these on. And I'll tell you, there is absolutely no way I'm getting a good look inside these, but there is a nice insole in there, and it has the Rick Owens logo kind of stamped into it. So we've got the shirt, we've got the boots, and then I really think there's just one element that's needed here, which is the bottoms. And I mean, we could put on some pants, but that would kind of take away from the big old socks on these chunky boot sneakers right here. So I think actually the way to go is to maybe try some shorts. And I have this really cool pair of kind of like glossy but sheer drop crotch Y3 shorts by Yohji Yamamoto. And I think that'll give a cool contrast from this calf to this. You may get a little bit of skin right in the middle, and I think that'll be a really interesting combination. So let's give this a go. Oh, wow, this look is like so much better than even I was expecting. And I think the key part of that is I wasn't sure if the shorts would fully cover the lip of the sock on the boots, but they do. So it makes a completely covered and seamless look, all black. The boots go on, the sock of those goes under the shorts in like the perfect way. The combination of that sheen on the shorts with the sheen of the kind of like leather coating on the socks, everything's really cool. And then the extra long line of that shirt, it all comes together to a really cool kind of like haunting look in my opinion. So I'm super psyched. I'm gonna totally wear this look in the future, no question. But let's talk about fit real quick. Starting with this shirt. We saw it was tagged to 48. Most brands that would be a medium. That is not the case here. Rick Owens tends to fit quite slim. So this is tagged to 48, but it fits like a fitted small. So not even like a normal small, but you can see on me, it is a fitted look. Fitted and long line, that's how it goes. I've got quite a bit of toe room here that gives me a bit of wiggle. But because those socks are locking me in so well, I'm not noticing it. It's not uncomfortable. I don't think it would cause any big blisters or anything when wearing, but it is something to keep in mind, especially if you're trying to buy a version of this silhouette without the sock that would be holding you in. And finally, let's talk about the feel. Staying with these shoes. That sock is extremely comfortable. It has just the right amount of stretch. I will say a little tough to get on because they aren't like fully stretchy. They don't give you full rein to get in there. But once you get them in, the amount of stretch is perfect because it gives you room for your calf, but also it's not, cutting off your circulation or anything like that, but while holding you in place well. The shirt I absolutely love. It's a really, really soft cotton. Like, feels like a kind of normal dress shirt, I would say, but just has this extra level of softness that I wasn't expecting whatsoever. So I think you can tell by how psyched I am on the look that I am a really, really big fan of these two pieces individually and together. So they have more than earned their place in the rotation here.